manifest reality of what is unseen. I want you to listen good. God conquered a universe of total blackness by making light everywhere. So that as we once lived in a universe of darkness, we now live in a universe of light. You do not have darkness in this universe that is actually real. There is no darkness in this universe. Only darkness you have is the absence of light created by the shadow of what God has created. Do you hear what I'm saying? All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the world. Darkness is not real. Night is not real. Night has no base. The only thing that creates night is that you're living in the shadow of the earth. That when the sun strikes the earth, on the other side of the earth, the earth is casting a shadow. And in the shadow of the earth, it is dark. And on the other side, it is light. But where you are, darkness is not real. For when the sun gets around there, it lights it up. And where did the darkness go? Darkness is gone. So the God who created light, vanished darkness, does not love darkness. Therefore, in his coming at the end of the world, he finds the people in darkness. And the Bible said the people walked in darkness. But he also answered the darkness. He said, they that walked in darkness have seen a great light. And upon them hath the light shined. Then he said, arise and shine, for your light is come. What do you mean, prophets? The light coming is that God is going to make a light for the world. In the 33rd surah of the Quran, that surah that says that Muhammad is not the father of any of your men, but is the messenger of Allah and the seal of the prophets. In that same surah, Allah calls him a light-giving son. Jesus in the New Testament says, I am. I am what? I am the light of the world. How did you get to be the light of the world, Jesus? Who made you a light of the world? You didn't make yourself a light of the world. You're a man born of a woman that came through the vicissitudes of life as all human beings. How did you become the light of the world? God saw the world in darkness and said, I desire a light. And he said, be. And Jesus came forth, and he, Jesus, is a manifestation of the power of the will of God. He, Muhammad, is a manifestation of the power of the will of God. And anything that comes into existence by the power of the will of God is sustained by that will and cannot be destroyed by an opposing, self-willed, vainglorious, ignominious, self-worshiping, self-styled Pharaoh, Reagan, Bush, powers of the world. You can never destroy that which is as a result of the will of God. So the Quran says, they desire to put out the light of Allah with their mouths. Yes. That's like a fool standing down here on the earth blowing at the sun. If you gathered the whole of humanity and we all stood together and blew at the sun, could we blow out its light? No, sir. Your breath can hardly travel further than you, thank God. For you that didn't brush your teeth. Yes, sir. And have bad breath. If you could blow beyond the sphere of the power of your breath, you would affect the sphere of others with your breath. Yes, sir. But since you can't blow out of the sphere of just your little atmosphere, then if all human beings on the earth blew together under the guidance of Reagan, yes, or under the guidance of the Pope, or under the guidance of any other fool that wants to play God, yes, You could not put out the light of Allah. Allah says in the Quran, I will perfect my light even though the polytheists may be averse. So what can you do, Reagan, with the light of God coming up out of the slaves in your midst? Nothing you can do but bow down if you got any sense, for your day of rule is over. Your time of power is over. You must sit down with the rest of them, for you have botched the job. So when God sees the condition, not that he didn't know it, it was written before we were born. The condition that we would be in at the end of Satan's time of rule. Satan's time of rule only means men and women who submit to the powers of their lower self and are guided by a desire and a will that is not the desire and the will of God. Whether you're black, brown, red, yellow, or white, if you are deceived by your own desires, by your own self-willed way, and will not bow your will to the will of God, then you become a Satan or an agent of Satan. Yes. Reagan is an agent of Satan. Yes. I want you to listen, Mr. Reagan. I want you to listen, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Governor. Because you all need to listen with your self-willed selves, ruling contrary to the will of God. Your days are limited. All of you, black or white, your days are limited. If you rule by your desire and your will, God will not accept it today. It is his will that must be implanted and established. Therefore, by his will, he raises one from a dead level. And he becomes the first fruit of them that slept and the first begotten of the dead. And he speaks, I am the light of the world. If you follow that light, you will have no darkness in your being. Because as Allah, the originator, vanished darkness from a universe 76 quintillion miles in diameter, that God, it is easy for him to vanish darkness from your being. But in order for darkness to be vanished from our being, we must accept the light, be guided by the light, feed on the light, that we become children of the light. Yes, sir. Well, I thought your subject was the will and building the will. That's what I'm talking on. You think you're insignificant. You, parents, look at your children in an ignorant way, thinking that your children are insignificant. They don't understand. They're this, they're that, so we pay them no attention. Society does not pay adequate attention to the children. The schools are no longer able to teach or discipline the children because their minds have evolved. They are from you, but they are not of you. Listen. Therefore, you are not allowed to teach them, because your days of teaching them the foolishness of this world that you call wisdom is over. Your babies are made for another wisdom and another time and another world. You parents, mothers, fathers, I want you today to look at yourself and see who you are, what you are, and what you can become if you are quickened to mental, spiritual life. If you think nothing of yourself, you can get nothing from yourself. For as a man thinketh, so is he. The desire of this world is to make you think you are nothing. That's right. Particularly if you are black, Hispanic, Native American, or people of color. You are made to think you are nothing. The blacker you are, the more nothing you think you are. So if you think you are nothing, you do not know what to expect from yourself. In fact, you expect nothing from yourself. Therefore, you will follow the leadership of white people simply because they are white, and you realize by the false education that you have received that you are nothing. I want to give you a new realization today, a better realization today, that you have never been nothing. It's only the darkness of your mind in the shadow of the white man's world. But God is going to remove the shadow of his world to make you to see that not only are you something of value, but you can build a world superior to the decadent world that you now bow down and worship the builders of. But he must build in you the will to do it. Why do you think the enemy fights so hard to crush out any leader that will make you see something valuable in yourself? They call me everything but a child of God. What have I done? I've done nothing. Teach the truth. That's your enemy, right? Not you. That's their enemy, because their world is a world built on lies. Jesus called them liars and the father of it. Well, a lie can't exist in the presence of the truth. There is no darkness in the presence of light. So therefore, this illusion that the Caucasian has created or made that he calls the world, it will come crumbling down when the truth comes, and a human being with the will of God is willing to tell the truth at any cost. And those kinds of human beings are now in the world. What should you expect of yourself? You are not to worship Jesus. You are to follow his example. Are you listening? You are not to worship Muhammad. You are to follow his example. Jesus was born of a woman. Were you? Yes. He was hated before he came into the world. Were you? If you black in this world, you were hated before you came into the world. They sought to kill him before he was born. Do they seek to kill black and Puerto Rican and Chicano and Native American babies before they're born into the world? Jesus is an example for you and me. How come you can say Jesus is an example if you're a Muslim? Because you can't be a Muslim if you don't believe in Jesus. Most of you Christians don't even know that we believe in Jesus. But it is you who have made a mistake by not accepting Muhammad and looking at a man who brought the final revelation into the world. That is a book called the Holy Quran that you do not know anything about. The Bible that you have has come through the same enemy that corrupted you. Do you think if that man turns you from a human being into a slave and then into an animal and corrupted your very existence, do you think that man would leave the word in its proper and rightful state if it came through his wicked hands? Any man that will not listen good. I don't want to bust this up again. That Farrakhan, he just gets excited and breaks things up. I don't want to break up the rostrum. I want to break up foolishness in your head. Any man that will not treat you right is a man that will not teach you right. And if the white man who has been our teacher has never treated us right from the day that our fathers set the soles of their feet in the Western Hemisphere, I can bet my life that he has never taught us right about God, about religion, about Jesus and the prophets, about science and mathematics and history, because he's not right himself, and therefore everything he teaches is part lie, part truth. And I can prove it. Jesus grew to become master over all that God had created. As a Muslim, how do we see that? How do you see that? He's a man born of a woman that becomes master of all of creation. Isn't that interesting? Yes, as long as you worship Jesus, you'll never realize that Jesus was an example of what the least of you could become. Yes. Oh, yes. I'm going to say that again. So that anybody in here who think he's the least, you can become the most. Because deep down in you, you are from the most. How could you be the least if the most is your creator? So the least that you are is the least of your thinking. Let me say it again. Jesus became master over all that his Father created, according to the book. As a sign and the apex of what human beings could evolve to if they submitted their will to do the will of God. So Jesus said to his disciples, listen, greater works than these shall you do. Now just stop a minute. If Jesus opened the eyes of the blind, made the deaf hear, the dumb speak, raised the dead to life, healed the sick, cleansed the leper, the blind, the lame, and the halt, and then told his disciples, greater works than these shall you do. He's a true teacher. For the teacher wants to make his student greater than himself. But as long as you worship the teacher and say, Lord, Lord, hallelujah, Lord, as though he can do it all and you ain't got nothing to do, then you depreciate yourself in value and you never become what God wants you to become. You are not to worship Jesus. He never told you, come worship me. He said, come follow me. That where I am, you may be also. That's your potential. Your potential is to be master over God's creation. The Bible says God made Adam, and it gave him power and dominion over the fowl of the air, the fish of the sea, and over every creeping thing that crawls upon the earth. And he commanded Adam, subdue it, replenish the earth, and subdue it. A command is his will. Be what? A subduer. So he already put it in us by his command to be, that we can subdue the earth. And if you can subdue the earth and all therein, then you can subdue this that came from the earth and all therein. You must become a master of yourself, for if you do not master yourself, someone else will. And someone else is, and someone else has. When God comes into the world, he finds humanity enslaved. So in the 90th surah of the Holy Quran, entitled The Cities, he says, and what will make thee know what the uphill road is. The uphill road is to free a slave. Jesus said, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. In the Quran, it bears witness to what I'm saying. Allah says in the Quran, I'm going to create a ruler in the earth. And the angel said, what will you make except that which will create mischief and cause the shedding of blood? And Allah said, I know what you know not. And he made a man, and he made that man superior to angels. And then he told Adam, go and inform the angels of their names. And when he asked Adam to ask the angels their name, and then he told Adam, inform them, because they couldn't answer. He said, did not I tell you I know the seen and the unseen? He made a man more powerful than an angel. And then he called man his vicegerent. Not the angels his vicegerent, but man his vicegerent. You call it Khalifa. It means successor. One who rules in the place of another. God makes man to rule in this sphere, and he makes him to be able to master the universe. That's your potential. But if you don't know your potential and don't have the will to reach your potential, then a slave master will impose his will on you and make you do his will. And so what have you become in life? A drunkard, a thief, a bandit, a gambler, a prostitute, a lowlife. You walk the street as though you're nothing. You have no aim, no desire, no will to be anything more than what the white man has made you. A few of us start out saying, I want to be something. And then you get into college and university. And before you know it, your light of desire is extinguished because the white man makes education seem so difficult. You go to DePaul, you go to Loyola, you go to the University of Chicago, and they try to flunk most of you out. They cripple your desire to make you think that education is only that which can be attained by a select few, and the rest of the masses should go to hell because you were not born into the world to achieve. This is a wicked and corrupt plan of wicked and corrupt men who only want to keep knowledge among a few and then crush the masses and their aspirations out by manipulating the few. All of you that came to birth from your mother's womb came into this world not to achieve mediocrity, but to achieve excellence and supremacy. You were born supreme. You were born to rise above all of the creatures in the universe except God himself. You were born to achieve the heights. So up, you mighty nation, you can accomplish what you will. But if you don't have a will to do anything more than to be a low-life Negro, that's all you're going to be in life. And so God must send you a man, somebody to make you see what you can become, and then build your will so that anybody that want to sit on you, you will never allow it again. How do you build a man's will? As your body needs food to grow, the will must be fed by food. What is the food of the will? The food of the will is desire. If you desire nothing, you want nothing. Therefore, you can never say be because you don't want nothing, so you don't say be. But if you want something, anything, you start feeding the power of God within you. Some of you just want a pair of shoes. Some of you want a fur coat. Some of you want a car. Some of you want a job. But whatever you want, it starts with desire. Once you say, I desire, how strong is your desire? If you say, I desire, then you come right behind desire and say, be. Meaning now I'm going to put the power of my being on this object that I desire. I'm going to arrange the force of my being and get allied forces together so I can accomplish my will. And then when I have accomplished that, I can't sit down. Desire feeds the will again. I want to move up from the clerk. I want to be mayor. I want to move up from the mayor. I want to be governor. But when desire ends, death has approached you mentally. Do you hear me? Yes, sir. This is why they work to crush out desire. Oh, nigga, you can't be that. What you want to be? Oh, no, that's white folks. You can't have that. What you want? Oh, no, you can't do that. You send your children to school. You got little geniuses. What do you want to become, Johnny? Johnny says, I would like to be a scientist. Oh, no, Johnny. No, no, no. No, Johnny. Johnny, have you seen Walter Payton? Isn't he marvelous? I'm going to bring you a football to school, Johnny. Because as long as you play football, you will never challenge the powers of this world to make a better one. As long as you study sociology and not mathematics. Psychology and not physics, chemistry, and engineering. As long as you study these other disciplines and not the building disciplines, then you will always be subject to the builders of a world that have carved you out of the world. No, we got to build something better than what the white man got. And you'll never do it unless you got a desire and then set the will into motion and say, be in the name of God. There is nothing that you desire that you cannot attain. Nothing. If you got the will to do it and are willing to overcome the difficulties inherent in the attainment of every desire. If you're willing to sacrifice, if you're willing to suffer pain to get where you want to go, then there is nothing that you cannot achieve. Why shouldn't you be willing to suffer a little pain? You suffered it for nothing. Why not suffer it for something? Our fathers suffered pain in North America just to be a good slave. And we built nothing for ourselves. We built it for white folks. We suffered on the battlefields. We suffered in the Revolutionary War, in the War of 1812, in the Spanish-American War. We suffered in World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnamese War. What did you suffer pain for? To become blind and lame and losing your limbs so white folk could maintain power over you? Why not suffer to be free of their rule forever? And so, my beloved brothers and sisters, as we near the end of this broadcast and the end of this lecture, I say to you, let's feed the will. Yes, desire something today and then go after it in the name of God and you will attain it. Stop laying down and wallowing in the valley of self-pity. I'm black and things is against me and I just can't do it. They don't like black people. They don't like Puerto Ricans. They don't like Native Americans. Shut up. Do you love yourself? Then if you love yourself, ain't nobody standing in your way but a weak-willed self that don't desire to get up and achieve anything. You cannot stop me, Reagan. You don't have no power in the government of America to stop me and what God has put in me of his will to achieve his will. These are blind fools who only see a little insignificant man. They don't see the power of God's will upholding the man, as you don't see the power upholding the earth, but that don't mean you can destroy it. I'm here because of the will of God. And you cannot destroy me unless it be the will of God. We are the overcomers. So says the Holy Quran. Weak-minded Muslims and weak.
Wow. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his servant and messenger. I want to greet you, my dear beloved brothers and sisters, in the greeting words of peace. We say it in the ancient tongue of Arabic. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Welcome, 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 dear beloved family, to another episode of the Imagination Show. My name is Brother Leo Muhammad, and sitting alongside me is my beloved friend and wife, Sister Claudia Muhammad.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I greet you all in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, beloved.
Thank you once again for tuning in to another edition of the Imagination Show. Wherever you are on the planet Earth, we thank Almighty God Allah for blessing us with yourselves. Thank you so much for tuning in. And the minister, you know, what can I say? And to all of those, I know in this country, the young people have got their exam results. Doesn't matter. Whatever you've got, doesn't matter.
Yes.
It's a different day today. Today's a different day today. Go with the knowledge and wisdom of God today.
Yes, ma'am. Praise be to Allah. And just, you know, family, just picking up very briefly on what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was just talking about. I mean, there was so much, and it was just so pregnant and so full in terms of that message. And you see, family, no doubt at the time when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was speaking and talking directly to the then President Reagan, there would have been a lot of people who would have been, you know,
Yes.
you know, look, that man's just talking, big talk, whatever. Oh, you know, they're going to kill him soon or whatever. You see how the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has outlived all of them?
Yeah.
Outlived all of them. And it's not that they weren't trying and that they haven't tried. Do you understand that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been to death's door 3 times, and that was as a direct result of them attempting to kill him? But as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, he is upheld, backed, supported, protected by God.
That's right.
And you see, family, at some point, we're going to have to come to the realization that God is real, man.
Right.
God is no spook.
Right.
We ain't dealing with no ghosts, you see, and this man is a real blessing to the entire human family. Human family, not beasts in human form, you see, but the human family, those of us who really care about life, care about the creation of Almighty God Allah, and what's on his planet. You see, again, when the minister was talking, he touched on the fact that these people are so arrogant, they actually think they can destroy the planet. No, you can't. You can't destroy this. You can't destroy that which Almighty God Allah created from his mind. But you see, family, if we keep on misthinking, thinking that the enemy is so powerful.
We give them too much power.
Absolutely, man. We give them far too much power and far too much credit instead of giving that power and that credit where it belongs. Give God the glory.
Absolutely.
And so, family, welcome to another episode. And as always, I want to encourage you to call a friend, a relative, a loved one. Let them know that the Imagination Show is live right now on Zoom and also on YouTube. And also dear brothers and sisters, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Imagination Show so that we can build the show and continue to grow the show. Also, for those of you who wish to make a donation to help us to keep going, feel free, dear family. We appreciate anything that you can give in order to help us to continue to come out each and every week to share with you some more of the life-giving teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Dear family, without further ado, we're going to get right into, unless Sister Claudia, did you have anything?
No,
and I noticed we got somebody in from Brazil. I believe I saw Brazil. Don't forget, family, let us know where you are on the planet, where you are viewing us from, because we're always interested in learning where you are looking at the show from. DJ Fire, Assalamu alaikum from Brazil. All praise is due to Allah. Wonderful. Welcome.
Achilles? I'm not sure if I'm saying the right name.
Achilles, go ahead. Yeah.
From Dallas, Texas. I've
Dallas,
seen
Texas.
that before.
Okay.
Welcome, Johnny Mitchell, as usual. 8 Electronics, Stephen Brown, Darlene X, Azim Shabazz, Lenora Shepherd, the regular, Aaron Robinson, Andrea Collins. I haven't got my glasses on. William Powell, Ghost type? Is that something?
And Timo 41, blessings to you, Brother Leo from Los Angeles.
Monique the Rap Star.
The city of lost angels.
Monique the Rap Star.
Okay, beautiful.
General Louverture. You said Darlene X.
You said Darlene X.
Okay, already.
Yes.
Okay, I'm Patrick Pat.
Praise.
And HKA. You said any right? Any right?
No, any right is our regular, yes.
And what's this? Anteno Mo.
Yes.
You said?
Yes.
Okay, praise be. And
Timo 41, blessing to you from Los Angeles.
Sister Wendy, is that you, Wendy? Wendy, Wendy.
If it's
Wendy.
If it's Wendy, yeah, if it's, oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
Sister Wendy from Weiler. Let us know, Sister Wendy, if it's you. Welcome to episode 196. Episode 196 of the Imagination Show. Today is Thursday, August the 21st. Where did August go, Sister Claudia? 2025. And our subject today is democracy or revolution. Democracy or revolution? It's a very, very critical question. Democracy or revolution, dear family. I hope everybody is good. And as usual, I want to say that I don't intend to be very long this evening. It's a very powerful question, and it's a big one, and it's not, there's no way that we intend to do a comprehensive breakdown in terms of trying to answer that question, but we just want to put something out there to really cause you to really think about this question, this type of subject, and for you to go away, do your research, and really look into the reality of such a question, dear family. In the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 14, it reads, multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. That's a powerful scripture talking about people being called into a valley of decision. Why a valley? Because a valley tends to be low. And what it's really implying is that in order to make the type of decision that we need to make, we have to be beneath the surface. We can't be mere surface dwellers. We have to go deep into the subject, deep into ourselves, deep into the question in order to really see, because again, one of the problems we have in a world like this, dear family, is that so many of the vexed questions that beset humanity and people is that we tend to come at these things from a branch level or a surface level, but we don't go deep enough to the root of the problem, the root of the question, in order to get the right answer. You can never get the correct answer from being on the surface or being on one of the branches of that particular tree that question comes from. If you want the real answer, you got to go deep. You got to go to the root. So the scripture says multitudes, multitudes in the valley. In other words, you got to go deep of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Dear family, I think it's important for all of us to appreciate that we're living in an age and a time of choice, and that our choices can and will mean the difference between life and death. This is the type of time period that we are now living in. And that's whether we are speaking individually or as a people and the nation. In my humble opinion, democracy or revolution is a choice between Satan and Almighty God. And that's what we're going to break down just briefly here this evening, dear family, because, terms like democracy, they can sound somewhat innocuous. Revolution, everybody kind of has a kind of understanding of maybe people rioting and crazy stuff happening in the street. I remember watching The Godfather, and there was the revolution when it was taking place on the island of Cuba, and the mafia were being run out basically, and there was all kinds of stuff happening, soldiers on the streets, and the revolutionaries, Castro and those with him, were up in the hills, and everybody was tense, and the revolution was getting closer and closer. That's one understanding, that's one appreciation of it, dear family. But we want to go just a little bit deeper this evening in episode 196. Leo Muhammad Speaks, Image and Nation, episode 196, Democracy or Revolution. That's what we are dealing with this evening, dear family. I hope everybody is good. Sister Claudia, you got anything before we continue?
No, sir. And it is our Wendy from Wyler.
Oh, okay. Praise be to Allah. Welcome, dear beloved sister. Before we get into our subject too deeply, let's have a look at this first.
Power presents a movie breakdown of Sinners, hosted by brother Leo Muhammad of BBC Real McCoy fame. Looking at the true impact of this latest installment from writer, producer, and director Ryan Coogler and starring Michael B. Jordan, this powerful live and in-person breakdown takes place on Saturday, 6th of September 2025 at Tavistock Hall, High Street, Harlesden,
NW10 for NE.
Doors open 6 p.m. Movie breakdown starts 6:30 p.m. sharp. £5 donation on the door.
Praise be to Allah. Welcome, Azim Shabazz from Philadelphia. Welcome, welcome, welcome. 147 Savage, Flint, Michigan, USA. Wonderful, man. Just beautiful to hear where people are coming in from viewing the Image and Nation show. Dear family, the claim by the contemporary powers that be, those powers that be, the people that we all look to and think that they're really in charge and are running things. The claim by the contemporary powers that be is that democracy is the best system of governance in the world. We have been miseducated to believe that democracy means the rule of the people. That's what they tell us that it means. Democracy means the rule of the people. And because of the miseducation, the vast majority of that take that to mean the masses of the people, we are in rulership because we're part of a great democracy, and we get to vote every 4 years or every 5 years or whatever the case may be. And we can elect and we can, throw people that are not performing well, out of office, and so on and so forth. And this massive illusion is created, and we really believe that it's the rule of the people. Their family, the problem is we're never told which people are ruling. See, because according to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, 85% of the global family, the world's population, 85%, whether those people are black, brown, yellow, red, makes no difference. 85% of the world's population are ignorant,
That's right.
literally poison animal eaters. In other words, they can give us pork, swine, and all kinds of bottom feeder shellfish from the depth of the ocean, and snails, and all kinds of filthy stuff that should never enter the body of a human being. They can give us these things to eat, and we will eat them up because we are ignorant people. 85%. We're taught through the teachings that there are 10% who are the wickedly wise blood suckers of the poor. And then the other 5% of the people are the poor, righteous teachers. I'm striving to be one of those. Because I'm trying to exit the ranks of the 85% to become one of the 5% poor, righteous teachers. That's my objective in life. See, but the figures are really important because most people just haven't got a clue. See, that the people that when they talk about democracy, it's only within that 10%. That's why when you study, like if you study British politics, what you'll find is that all of the prime ministers and all of those who are in high office, they all went to the same schools. And they didn't go to the so-called bog standard comprehensive or the ordinary state schools. Now, man, they went to Eton and they went to Oxbridge and Cambridge and all of these kind of places. And then they are selected out of that fold, out of that small percentage of people, because they are groomed to rule over the 85%. Even within that 10% that you can break that down. I'm not going to go into that this evening, but there's even stratus to that. You see? But understand, dear family, we're never told which people are actually ruling. It's like I don't know if you remember back in the day when you'd watch those old films, the old black and white films, when there was still a bit of kind of morality when they were making films, and they would have like a romantic or sexual scene, and as the woman and the man would come together, the camera would move away from them, pull away from them, and then maybe you might see they might have fireworks going off or something, and then you had to imagine in your mind what was happening with the couple, but you wouldn't see anything because they were more morally conscious when they were making those kind of movies. Well, see, when they say the rule of the people, they know that you're going to fill in the blanks. See, and again, because we're constantly being told that, if you vote, you can change this and you can change that and you can do this and you can do that, and it's a democracy. They know that the vast majority of people will fill in the blanks and think that they're a part of that process, and that we've got those individual liberties, and there's freedom, there's justice, there's equality, when in reality, when you look at the life that most people lead, and in particular when you're talking about black and brown people in the Western Hemisphere, black people in particular, man, where is the democracy? Because again, this is supposed to be a democratic nation in which we live. Well, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been banned from this country since 1986. I first heard about the minister in 1985 when he did Madison Square Garden, that powerful lecture. And he was banned the year after that from coming to this country. But my point is that What has the minister done to be banned?
Hmm.
What law did he break? Who did he hurt? Who did he attack? The minister's never been convicted of anything.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and whether the enemy likes it or not, the minister has a constituency in this country that want to see him, that want to hear from him, but they banned him. They even banned him coming via satellite one time.
That's right.
I mean, imagine the terror of these people, that they're so afraid of a man's voice that they banned a satellite link.
That's right.
And they've done that more than once, by the way. Dear family, the rule of the people, the problem is we're never told which people are ruling. Political scholars, academics, and the Western media tell us that the origin of the word democracy is from Greece and the Greek language, demos kratis. It then becomes an English word. When you bring it into Latin, it becomes democracy. Drop the N, change the I to a Y, and you get democracy. Let's listen to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan break it down.
You need to get a book that details how the Federal Reserve Bank came into existence. The boys that print your money, that's the real power. And they got us killing each other over this. Selling out our future over this. Jews set up the communist camp. Karl Marx was a Jew. Jews set up democracy or capitalism. You really want democracy? Let me break it down and show you what it means. You want democracy? You got democracy. What is democracy? Let's break the word down. Democracy. You got it? D-E-M-O-C-R-A-C-Y. Pardon me, I only went to the 3rd grade. Democracy. That is an English word that has its root in Greek. So in order to understand the real meaning of democracy, you got to go to Greek. So the word demo comes from the Greek word demos. And krasi comes from the Greek root kratis, K-R-A-T-I-S. Demos kratis. When you bring it up into Latin, it becomes demon, D-E-M-O-N, C-R-A-C-I, krasi. Then they drop the N and change the I to a Y, and you get democracy. Well, demos kratis and democracy means the rule not of the people, but the rule of the devil. Democracy. So when they say we want democracy in Africa, we want the rule of the devil, not the rule of the people. They have never wanted the rule of the people. They want the rule of a few to subjugate the masses so that the few can live in luxury as bloodsuckers of the poor. Democracy. It's the only game in town now. Democracy.
Just think about it, family. Just think about it. Welcome, DJ Mr. P. Good to see you, brother. Welcome, Street Mike. Wonderful.
And Marla.
And Marla Baldi from Guinea-Bissau. Wonderful. Welcome, welcome, welcome to you all, dear family. Look, man, you know, it's sad really because um, as human beings living in a world like this, we've been thoroughly spooked out. So, the devil is this red thing or black thing under the ground with horns and a pitchfork and a tail, whatever. No, 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 no. Stop it, stop it, stop it. The devil is on top of the surface. The devil is real. The devil is people. Satan is people, dear family. You see, and they are actively working, creating systems of governance and rulership in order to keep some people absolutely, you know, in the worst condition possible, while a few people live large. You see, this is real. And, democracy as a term or as a principle or as a system, it's not here by accident. It's not some accidental thing. They know what they're doing and they choose the words. It's like when Christmas comes and you see they're putting out Xmas cards. Why Xmas? The word Christmas doesn't start with an X. Because some you ask them why, they say it's to abbreviate Christmas. No, no. If you're going to abbreviate Christmas, it would be C-mass because Christmas starts with a C. But the reason why they put Xmas is because they're literally mocking. It's talking about the masses of the people worshiping that which they know not, because the X represents the unknown. So it's mockery in the face of the people. And democracy literally means the rule of the demons. I'm telling you, family. I'm telling you. So, here we are calling for democracy. We want democracy. And we haven't got a clue what we're talking about. Do you know that there is a form of African democracy which actually works for Africans? But it's not Western democracy. And we got to stop this nonsense where we think we can bring in Western democracy, impose that on African people or impose that on the people in the East or in the southern hemisphere of our planet. It don't work. It doesn't work. Muammar Gaddafi, you hear this language. Oh, he's a dictator. He's a dictator. He wasn't no dictator. He set up a system which was more democratic than here, which is why in the end they were able to infiltrate and go in. That's why you had a whole region of Libya called Benghazi, which was basically against Gaddafi. You think if he was a dictator, he would have allowed that? Every Libyan had arms in their house. Dictators don't do that. Dictators don't give you a stipend into your bank account each month from the oil revenue. Right. Dictators don't give you, when you get married, $5,000 just because you're getting married. And we can go on and on and on, dear family. But you see, where do we get our news? Where do we get our information? Who's our educator? While Europe and the rest of the Western world readily credits ancient Greece as its foundation for mathematics, architecture, because if you listen to them, they'll tell you they got it from the Greeks. You see, and the Romans got it from the Greeks, and that's how we have what we have today: architecture, science, medicine, religion, and a system of government which today they call democracy. That's the root of it. The real foundation of all their knowledge is in fact Kemet or ancient Egypt. You can use either word. And it's black gods such as Imhotep, the multi-genius. I mean, I'm not going to go into Imhotep tonight, but I'm telling you, family, you need to really study and understand the kind of human beings that were walking this earth thousands and thousands of years ago, long before the white man was even a thought. And the level of their intelligence, the level of their ingenuity, the level of civilization that used to exist on our planet before Greece and before Rome. These are relatively new concepts that have come onto our planet. But anyway, Imhotep was a multi-genius who built complex and high civilization on the African continent, which this world cannot replicate or understand to this day. To this day, they don't know how it was done, how we did what we did, how we built the pyramids, how we did so many things in terms of the alignment that we would put our buildings with the stars in heaven. You know, the Dogon tribe in Africa who identified the star of Sirius thousands of years ago. I mean, there's so much. But what it points to is a higher civilization and a people who, unlike the people who currently rule, were not anti-nature, were not destructive, but were a people who really were learned and a people who embraced the reality of God. You see, the God that was in, if you listen to what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was speaking about earlier on, really trying to get us to get away from this inferiority complex that we have, where we want to worship Jesus instead of following Jesus's example and being like Jesus. See, Jesus wanted us to be like him. He didn't say, worship me. He said, come follow me, that you might be where I am. See, but this is how we used to be, dear family. Once upon a time, we walked with God. See, because that's our Father, the creator of the heavens and the earth. But unfortunately, what has happened is that we have come under the rule, the stewardship of a lesser God. And that's what, again, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was talking about when he quoted the Holy Quran, where God says, I'm going to place a ruler in the earth. And the angels asked him, what would you place in it except that which will cause mischief and the shedding of blood? And God said, I know what you know not, because there's a reason for them being put on the planet, only for a short time, 6 days or 6,000 years. That's what it means in scripture. But dear family, you know, it's just really, really amazing to me that the enemy has done such a good job whereby, you know, this democracy thing really is a huge dilemma for so many of our leaders. So the black leaders, the black ministers, the black people who aspire to lead black nations and the black masses, that democracy has got them bamboozled, when in reality, it would take a cursory look at its origin and where it's really coming from and what it really means, that we would totally and utterly reject it, dear brothers and sisters. Okay, let's have a look. Who else is on? Any right? Thank you, DJ. Just push my like button. Praise be to Allah. Please remember to click on like if you have not done so already. Thank you, DJ Mr. P, for that reminder.
Musa Azuka from Nashville, Tennessee. And Count Music, Salam, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Nashville always sort of reminds me of, is it like country? Is it in America? Nashville. Sounds country, man. And that's not in a pejorative or negative way, but, you know.
It just reminds you.
Yes. Nashville. Yeah, yes, Nashville. When I hear Nashville, I think about country music. It's not an accident, dear family, that the first Greek civilization was called the Hellenistic civilization. Hellenistic. Starting around 300 BC, that's before Christ, and ending around 58 BC, when the next set of Europeans, the Romans, took control and began to build their empire, it was Hellenistic because it was hell on earth. I mean, again, you see, they call their things what they are.
That's right.
That's what they do.
Indeed.
Do you appreciate that the name Robinson literally translates into the son of Robin? That's how they, the way they put their names together, the way these things come about. Mr. Wood. It just because the man saw some wood, they named themselves after the creatures, Mr. Bird, Mr. Fish. You see, because they just arrived. They just arrived, and hell was what their world was like in the beginning, and so it's classified in their history as Hellenistic. The Hellenistic civilization, which is an oxymoron because it wasn't civilized at all, dear family. And then the Roman Empire took savagery, barbarism, debauchery, and the corruption of civilization to a whole new level of opposition to righteous conduct. Anybody know anything about the Roman Empire? Anybody heard about Emperor Caligula and all the nastiness that used to go on there? Do you know why the Protestants divorced themselves from the Roman Catholic Church? What the reasons were and how filthy and low down that church was, what they were doing back in the day? Have you heard the recent scandals about the Catholic Church and all of the crimes against children, etc., etc.? I mean, see, I don't know why we think that, okay, some of us may think, well, that was then, this is now, they've changed. Well, stop it. If your foundation is filth, debauchery, barbarism, rape, murder, incest, all of those things, what makes you think as you grow in sophistication, so in other words, you're going to take those things and carry them, but more on a sophisticated level, what makes you think they're going to get better? You see, if the thing starts wrong, it can only go further wrong. It's not going to right itself, especially if it's never been called out, especially if it's never been exposed to the degree where they're forced to make some type of atonement and some type of change and some type of contrition towards that behavior. No, dear family. It doesn't change, it just gets worse. And so they were always opposed to righteous conduct. And it is out of this history and background that they've produced a so-called democracy that the Western world says stands for individual liberty. Listen to what they say democracy stands for. This is just a few of the things they say, but they say it stands for individual liberty, fraternity, in other words, like friendship and love and all of this, between people and groups or whatever, and the rule of law. The rule of law. My God. These are some of the biggest lawbreakers on our planet, in our universe. I mean, and I'm not talking about the laws that they make, and even the laws that they make, they break them on a minute-by-minute basis. But I'm talking about God's law. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife or their neighbor's ox. And we can go on and on with those 10 commandments. Dear family, everything, and you've heard, Sister Claudia, you've heard the minister say this, everything that God says don't do, they say, go ahead, you can do it. That's right. These are lawbreakers. This is the an image. I don't know what all that blue stuff is coming out, the light. Maybe they put some lights on it at some stage. I don't know what they were doing there, but this is the famous Big Ben, which is a part of the Palace of Westminster, which is the parliamentary house here in the United Kingdom, the British Parliament. But you see, dear family, they've got the facade of something good and great. They've got the language or the words that if you just go on the basis of words and language, you might think that, you know, what they say is what they mean, what they say is what they do. But in reality, it is just deception. It's just deception. There is no real individual liberty. I mean, right now, man, if you see the type of surveillance and police state that we live in the UK, I mean, I remember back in the early 90s, Sister Claudia, a statistic that came out that said, this is in the early 90s, that the average Londoner was caught on CCTV camera over 300 times a day. That was in the early 90s. Well, all that's happened since then is that CCTV cameras has now quadrupled.
That's right.
So the average Londoner is probably caught on CCTV camera 1,500 times or maybe 10,000 times a day. Who knows? Because it's ridiculous. You cannot move for cameras. And things coming through the post, especially if you're a motorist, especially if you drive on these roads, it's like there's traps everywhere designed to take money out of the motorist pocket. And I'm a black man saying this, but I'm telling you, man, white people are crying.
Everyone is.
Everybody is crying because of this highway robbery that's going on. And then the level of intrusion where whether it's your phone, your computer, it doesn't matter what it is, that everything has got built-in spyware. Everything is, you know, you think you've turned your phone off, but people can still listen to your conversation in your house. This is real, man. This is real. I heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan refer to them as the international snooper. You know, big scandals come out with the NSA in America, listening, reading everybody's emails or listening to people's phone call, just scooping up everything. This is the world that they've created because there's no individual liberty. You see, there's no real fraternity. When you're out on these streets, you see the anger in people now. You see the kind of crimes that people, you know, they're just breaking into people's places. You got the farmers now complaining that they can't keep their tools anywhere because their farmhouses have been broken into. England is crazy. And it's all over the world because we're now living in a lawless world. There's no rule of law. It's a lie. And there are, you know, there's arguments in their media about two-tier justice system. It's more than two-tier, dear family. But the point is that the law really penalizes the masses, you see, and they're the ones, they're the cannon fodder for the law, while the rich and the powerful, they're able to buy their way or pave their way or bribe their way or, you know, influence their way out of the filth that they do and that they get into. I mean, you know, Epstein come to mind. I mean, and we can just go on, you know, Ghislaine, Trump. I mean, family, it's just so crazy, this world.
Yes.
You see, and it's not a democracy in the sense of how we think it is in terms of the rule of the masses of the people. It is a democracy in the sense of the rule of demons.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because they're the ones. This is not, again, like you hear about when the vast majority of people, they hear the term pedophile, automatically I think they think of some nasty, a little low life man, maybe in a dark alley in a street, waiting to try and grab a child and run off with them into darkness or something like that. They don't think about people wearing pinstripe suits in the back of Bentleys or living in high-rise luxury in penthouses and palaces or whatever. But that's the reality. But we've been given an image that the vast majority of people think, yeah, pedophile is some low down person, whatever, and they'll catch some of those because it's called trickle down. The filth trickles down. The filth is not rising up, dear family.
It's down.
The filth is not rising up from the bottom to the top. The filth is trickling down. You see? And that's why we're taught in the teachings that they keep us out of their social equality, because they know that we would realize how filthy they are.
That's right.
I mean, I hope there's somebody listening. Do you think there's anybody listening?
Yes, there.
Sister Claudia. Wow. We're not going to be long, family. We're not going to be long. But we got to be strong.
Like that, all those CCTV cameras, and they struggle to solve simple committed crimes.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Nowadays you suffer burglaries and things like this, or car break-ins or whatever. They hardly even come out now. They don't even come out. Not interested. Not interested. And they haven't got the manpower. Yes. You see? But I mean, I'm not even going to go there, to be honest with you. Their family fact. Throughout their history, so-called Western democracies have engaged in interventions in other countries, often with the stated goal of promoting democracy, but covertly with regime change, strategic or economic exploitation as the real goal. This is what these so-called democracies do. Go all over the world, interfering in other people's countries and business, promoting regime change. And they use that language, regime, not government. See? Because that conjures up a particular image, banana republics, and always seeing themselves and painting themselves as the benevolent and beautiful democratic governments. But this is what they do, dear family. They covertly go really into other people's places for the purposes of exploitation. These interventions, ranging from military invasions to economic sanctions and covert operations, have mostly had negative consequences for the targeted countries, leading to instability and the collapse of their legitimate institutions, sectarian violence, and the stunting of growth and development. Just think about Iraq, Afghanistan, and Libya, not to mention over 50 other African countries and regions of the world who have experienced this treatment. This is what they do in the name of democracy. See, I never tire of telling you this. 193 countries on the planet, affiliated to the United Nations, recognized by the United Nations as nation states or countries, sovereign countries, 193 of them. England, Great Britain has been to war in one form or another with 171 or 177 of them. Just think about that. Who is the troublemaker on the planet? And they've got the audacity to claim to be the mother of all parliaments and the mother of democracy, because most of it stems from here. See, remember, it's Greek, Latin, which then converts into English. Democracy is an English word. See, because it comes from England. England boasts that it's got the oldest parliament on the planet. This is what they boast. So understand, dear family, who is at the helm of much of this wickedness that permeates everything and everywhere. I don't know if you can see this image too well, but it's an image that, you know, some American painted back in the day, like depicting Colombia. This woman is supposed to be Colombia, you know, taking democracy across the West. And this is when they were, you know, having stagecoaches and riding horses and killing Native Americans and slaughtering the buffalo and basically winning the West. And they had gold rushes and all the rest of it. And this is the image that they want us to believe that they're all out. You know, this white woman, because I mean, family, the way in which they've sold a white woman. And so many of us as black men have fallen for it. Brothers, you need to come away from that, man. You need to understand that your black woman, there's nobody like her, man. She is the best woman on the planet. She is the mother of civilization. And those of us who are men who are busy stripping the black woman down and putting her in the public half nude or fully nude, we need to stop that, brothers. It's not a good look. And we will be punished by God for that treatment of our own female. You see, the Caucasian, he's going to do what he's going to do. But I'm telling you, man, so many of the things that we have begun to do and that we now do is because we are following them and their example and their way of life. And it's not a good way. And it's not a good example. See, pulling the clothes off the female and having her go in the public naked. This is something that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was very, 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 very passionate about in terms of, you know, the disrespect and the evil that it represents in the eyes of God. See, because that's not a look, that's not a way for the mother of civilization to be. She's a queen, man. She's royal. See, when you saw the Queen of England, when she was alive, you never really saw that woman with her hair out and all over the place. Where she'd be wearing some little bonnet or something, because they understand what that means. You see,
Covering her head.
yeah, it's not for everybody. It's not like for all and sundry. And then when you know, imagine your naked body just being on show. I mean, man, I saw a sister the other day in the shop. And talk about naked. I mean, it was just ridiculous. You know, all of the cheeks were out in the shop. And then the strange thing was that there was actually a couple of Orthodox Muslim brothers standing next to it. You know, they were the self-checkout. They were checking out, and these two brothers were completely covered. And then you got the black sister, females, standing next to them using another self-checkout, but she's so naked that, I mean, honestly, it just looked weird, man.
It's wrong.
There you had the brothers had modesty, they were covered. And then the woman was naked and out of doors. Dear family, and then when you looked at where she had tattoos, then you could see that, you know, she has to be dressed like that because she wants to show these tattoos. And this tattoo culture, we really think that we've invented something.
I know.
Everybody's doing it, but you think that you're unique with your tattoos. Stop it. You think that you're unique with your piercings through the nose and through the lips and through the tongue and through the genitals and through the eye, the eyebrow and through, I mean, I know you don't understand, but it's literally classified as savagery. And it's a lack of knowledge of self where we are defacing ourselves, where we think that we're adding some beauty to it. No, you're not doing that. God made you beautiful. You see, you don't have to be scarring up yourself and doing all this kind of stuff. And then, imagine we got all this, put all this metal in our mouth and all this kind of stuff. And then you have to go through a metal detector, or you get ill and there's something wrong with you. Then, you got it's family. We really have to wake up, because we're following a world it's not our world.
Satan as well.
It's not our world, man. And we're gonna go deeper and deeper into trouble as long as we don't make these choices. And today we framed it as democracy or revolution. And there's a reason for that. We get into that, and then we can go home. Okay? We can go home. Dear family, Joseph Muhammad, we must respect and protect the black woman. Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Absolutely right. Any right, the most honorable Elijah is the reason I love black people the way I do. When I first read the message to the black man in 1995. Yeah, every black person, male and female, should have a copy of Message to the Black Man on your shelf. And in reality, it shouldn't stay on your shelf. It should be literally right by your bedside, and you should be reading something from it every day, because it's one of the most powerful books that you will ever read in terms of the guidance that it contains. Praise be to Allah. Dear family, our brother P.O.W.E R understands very well the choice between democracy and revolution, which is why he declared on television to his people and the world that we are not in a democracy. We are in a revolution. These are the words of Brother P.O.W.E R. We're not in a democracy. We're in a revolution. If we have to say it loud and clear here, we are not in a democracy, he repeats. We are in a popular, progressive revolution. See, that's the mark of a strong black brother. That's the mark of a real leader who is not going to pretend that he is striving for some so-called democracy, because he already knows that that's not our system. He already knows that that can't work. So he's making it abundantly clear to his people in Burkina Faso and the rest of the world, whoever cares to listen. We're not going for no democracy. We're not in a democracy. This is a progressive, popular and progressive revolution. He goes on, everyone needs to understand this. It's even more surprising that those who are supposed to be intellectuals, who have been to school, can imagine that a country can develop in democracy. That's false. This is Ibrahim talking to his own so-called intellectual black people. See, because many of them, they've been to the white man's schools, they've been to the white man's universities, and they've got their degrees and they've got their qualifications, and they want democracy. And democracy must be established at all costs. You got some of them out there now, telling him, oh man, we don't need military rule, we need democracy. But the brother is saying it's surprising, that they've been to school. In other words, they're supposed to be intellectuals, yet they imagine that a country can develop in democracy. He says that's false. It's not possible to name a single country that has developed in democracy. And it's true, because it's a diabolical trick and a diabolical lie. None of our countries that have ever developed under so-called democracy. It was only yesterday that we were able to be teaching the white man about democratic principles when he ruled in South Africa and we as black people weren't allowed to vote. What kind of democracy was that? When he was in Zimbabwe and we couldn't vote, what kind of democracy was that? In the 60s, when we were still being lynched, 1955, when Emmett Till was being lynched, what kind of democracy was that? when black people were being burned at the stake and having Ku Klux Klan planting crosses on their lawns. What kind of democracy is that? So don't talk to us about democracy. It's a nonsense. When all you did was terrorize black people when we were enslaved, was that democracy? Were you practicing democracy then? You know, certainly you were, because it was the rule of demons. If you understand what it really means, dear family. And so, you know, let's not allow them to put that small time stuff over on us by making us to think that, you know, this notion of some type of democratic rule is really something that we should be striving for. The popular dictionary definition of the word revolution is a forcible overthrow of a government or social order in favor of a new system. That's what, you know, the popular definition of revolution is: a forcible overthrow of a government or social order in favor of a new system. But the lesser visited understanding is to turn or a rotation. It's very simple. When we're talking about revolution, dear family, we're talking about turning or a rotation, man. The Holy Quran says it like this in chapter 6, verse 80. Surely I have turned myself, being upright, holy to him who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Dear family, that's the revolution. Just turning away from this world and its way, turning away from Satan and his way. You know, in the Catholic Church, what do they say when they're doing I think even when they're doing like a christening of a child, they ask if you've renounced Satan.
Thinking of that.
No, I'm thinking about the mafia,
Yes.
the mafia with Michael Corleone. Michael Corleone, do you renounce Satan? I do. And whilst he's in the church saying that he's renouncing Satan, his henchmen are out assassinating and killing all of his enemies. I mean, that's how Satan operates, man. Michael Corleone, do you renounce Satan? I do. And he's at the same time killing all of his rivals. And you see, they put this in popular movies and they depict it. And you know, some of us, man, we love it. You know, we really admire Satan. We admire the devil. And because this is entertainment, don't forget. This is how they're entertained, by telling the truth on themselves, what they're really like, what they really do. Do you understand that these are the people, they will kill you and then come to your funeral and give your wife flowers and pretend that, you know, they're grieving with you, and they're the ones who actually killed your wife or your husband or whoever? Do we understand what we're dealing with here? Surely I have turned myself. You remember when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan advised us that it's not even about us turning ourselves. He said, surely I am being turned, because some of us haven't even got the strength in truth to turn ourselves. And we need God's help to turn. Literally, without God's help, some of us, man, we ain't turning nowhere. And so the minister said, surely I am being turned, trying to be upright to him who originated the heavens and the earth. And I am not from among the polytheists. I'm not from among those people who worship multiple gods. I'm not from among those people who see money as a god. If you remember when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan began speaking in the video, he's talking about that money, that dollar, how we sell ourselves for a piece of paper. Imagine somebody can come to you and give you several pieces of that paper and ask you to go and kill somebody for it. And some of us will do it. Think about that, man. For a piece of paper.
That's right.
Yeah, you may be able to go out and buy something with that piece of paper or spend that piece of paper, but it's still a piece of paper, and we're going to put that piece of paper above the life of another human being. Think about that. This is the world. And so, dear family, it's about turning from our wicked ways.
Sure.
If my people, which are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven. Family, I want to read something, actually. Just want to read something. Let me read to you an article about a recent incident on the African continent that perfectly illustrates the role played by so-called Western democracies against the rise, independence, and sovereignty of other nations. Family, okay? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just read you this thing. And I hope I can pronounce this man's name right. The arrest of Jan Christian Bernard Vizelas in Mali marks a significant moment in the country's ongoing struggle for sovereignty. This is the country of Mali. According to Mali's security minister, Vizelas was apprehended for allegedly acting on behalf of the French intelligence service. We're talking about Western democracies here, France, Britain, America, all of them. Just bear with me with the article, dear family. His mission, this is Vizelas' mission, his mission as described by authorities involved mobilizing political leaders, these are African political leaders in Mali, civil society actors, and military personnel, including 2 generals, to destabilize the transitional government. So this is the government set up in Mali. I believe that our the brother who runs Mali is Assimi Goita. Yeah, and this brother is formed a transitional government in Mali, and this Vizelas, a French national, has been caught trying to destabilize the country and that government. The operation reportedly began on August the 1st, 2025, just the other day, and culminated in the arrest of over 55 soldiers. That's how many people he got in his little conspiracy to try to destabilize the country. Malian officials framed the plot as a foreign-backed attempt to undermine national institutions and reverse the country's anti-imperialist trajectory. So here you got a country trying to get rid of those imperial forces, France, and the rest of these Europeans who impose themselves on sovereign nations to try to exploit them. And just because the Malian people are trying to extricate themselves from this level of control, they then plot with one of their people and several of the Africans to destabilize the nation. Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Guinea have all taken bold steps to expel French troops, reject the CFA franc, and align with alternative powers such as Russia. See, family, until we are prepared to turn away from these forces, to reject them, to say no more, man, we're gonna continue to be in deep, deep trouble. And you see, with Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Guinea turning away from them. Surely I am causing a revolution here, man, because it's revolutionary to turn away from Satan and his ways and to seek alternative ways of growth and development. The enemy hates that and will do everything in his power to try to prevent that separation. In response, these governments have faced sanctions. They put sanctions, media vilification, and in some cases, alleged coup attempts. Well, there's nothing alleged about it. They've been trying to plot coups all along. Ibrahim Traore himself has faced over 20 assassination attempts. The formation of the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, is a direct response to this pressure and a coalition built on sovereignty, resource control, and Pan-African solidarity, man. This is what we need. Sovereignty, resource control, the control of our own resources, and Pan-African solidarity. That means wherever we are as Africans on the continent and even in the diaspora, man, we got to unite and become one people again. Western powers, particularly France, have long maintained strategic interest in Africa, including access to natural resources, military influence, and economic control. Imagine controlling the economies of African nations from without. France was controlling 14 African nations, still in control of most of them. It's only a few that's said no more. Surely I'm turning away from you, Satan, devil. When African leaders challenge these interests, they often become targets of destabilization efforts reminiscent of Cold War era tactics. And some of those tactics actually include assassination and all manner of evil against any leader who determines to move away from these forces. The fates of Patrice Lumumba, Thomas Sankara, and Kwame Nkrumah serve as historical reminders of how foreign intelligence agencies have intervened to suppress anti-imperialist movements. Imagine. And they have the audacity to call themselves democracies while going around interfering with their intelligence agencies, MI6, Mossad, CIA, interfering in other people's sovereign business. In this context, the arrest of Vazilia is more than a spy scandal. It is a symbol of Africa's enduring struggle against neo-colonialism. Mali's defiance is its pivot away from Western influence, and its crackdown on internal collaborators reflects a broader continental awakening. That's what's needed now, family. A real, genuine awakening.
That's right.
See, because imagine, how are you going to make a decision? How are you going to make a choice if we remain asleep? We've got to be fully awake. And I didn't say woke, I said awake. This woke nonsense. Dear family, I hope you really can appreciate what we're trying to say here. For some reason, I think I
Skip.
Yeah, I missed. I want to try and go back. One second. Bear with me, dear family. No, I don't think I can. Let me go back. I gotta go back, brothers and sisters.
And the key to revolution, anyway, is it's got to start with yourself.
Absolutely.
That's the only way it will start, with us as individuals, turning ourselves away from Satan and turning to allow God.
Absolutely, beloved.
And that's what our life is. It's making those life choices, whether you're with allow God or Satan.
Yeah.
Have we found it?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
So, brothers and sisters, what is needed today is what Brother Ibrahim Traore called a popular and progressive revolution, or what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan calls a cultural revolution. See, remember a cultural revolution, somebody called themselves a rapper earlier on.
Oh, yeah.
Cultural revolution involves, progressive rap music. It involves music that's designed to help the people to appreciate themselves, help the people to move forward, help the people to be revolutionized, help the people to really appreciate that they can do for themselves. You see, a cultural revolution means that everything in the culture, whether it's cinema, whether it's art, whether it's music, doesn't matter what it is, everything must be geared towards that revolution, that turning, that change, that non-conformity to the status quo that has been established to be against us as a people. See? And so it's not a sudden and violent overthrow. This is not what we're talking about. It's not a sudden and violent overthrow of a system of government, but more an evolution into revolution. See, evolution into revolution, an evolving and gradual and complete change in fulfillment of the scripture found in the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 5, where God declares, "Behold, I'm making all things new." It's a process. It's a process. See, we've got to be in a process of renewal. Self-improvement is the basis for community development. So we've got to be about the business, dear family, of change. See, we've got to be changing everything, not one thing, but all things. And so as we go into this, that was the message that I really wanted to give this evening. And I hope that everybody got something from it, because these are choices that we've got to make. And we can't make such choices if we're ill-informed, if we don't know what the thing means that we've been given and that they're asking us to choose, when in reality, it's not even something that's good for us. You see, cinema or the movies is an extremely powerful medium for the conveying of ideas and concepts, dear family. The promotion of culture and the many and various forms of human and animal life in existence on our planet, as well as a great form of entertainment through audio and visual stimulus. For this reason, it is a great exercise to look deep beneath the surface of this fascinating medium called film, and to search and critique and analyze the words and images for any hidden meanings that they may contain that might enlighten us at a more profound level.
The devil.
We arrived in Hollywood. Are we as good or bad as white filmmakers? Do we need a cultural revolution in our audio and visual arts? What hidden messages does the movie Sinners send about our past, our present, and even the future? All these questions and much more will be addressed by me, Brother Leo Muhammad, at a live and in-person movie breakdown, starting at 6 p.m. sharp on Saturday, the 6th of September, 2025, at the Tavistock Hall, High Street, Harlesden, NW10 4NE. There'll be a £5 donation at the door. Yeah, man. We're going to be breaking down Sinners, the movie, on Saturday, the 6th of September. Look forward to seeing some of you there if you can make it, dear family, in Harlesden, northwest London. And, you know, in these movies, there's so much that's hidden. There's so much symbolism and meaning that can be extracted if we know how to look. And so that's what we're going to be doing on that day. And we look forward to seeing as many of you who can make it down there. Thank you, dear family, for blessing us once again with your presence. May Allah bless you as I greet you, as I found you in the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Brother Leo. Thank you so much for your breakdown this evening. All
Allah.
praises due to Allah. So, family, don't forget to tune in to the Final Call Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Feed your mind with right guidance. It's as simple as that. Just keep feeding
your mind. Feed your
with
mind.
right. And eventually you'll find that you don't want to hear the negative things or anything like that. So it's the more you feed on right guidance.
You'll be right.
Yeah, of course. And don't forget, subscribe to the Final Call newspaper. Is your thing going to come on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, subscribe to the Final Call newspaper where you can get the truth. We need to forget these other newspapers. They're just not telling us the truth. All over the world, all these calamities happening, but are you hearing about them? Are you hearing what's happening with the weather, fires, earthquakes, all over?
They're not really saying nothing about
They're
this,
not
but
saying
it's all in the Final Call, family.
Yeah, and this is what the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan warned us to watch the weather.
Watch the weather.
And this is what we are seeing all over the planet Earth. Well, we're not going to see it unless we're going to read the Final Call newspapers.
The onboard, uncompromised news.
Yeah, I'll just quickly read this. Countries around the world are being hit with weather-related disasters causing severe damage and loss of life. Wildfires, torrential rains, excessive heat, mudslides, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions have struck all parts of the earth. How many of these have we heard this week? Right. In the US, millions were under flood alerts across the Midwest, while fires forced evacuations in Colorado, volcanoes erupted in Japan and Indonesia, and extreme heat is still impacting parts of Europe. This is why we definitely need to subscribe to the Final Call newspaper to get the up-to-date current affairs, what's happening in this world today. And also,
and that's where all that dust.
Oh yes, the dust, because we were saying our cars.
You clean the car,
yeah,
and within hours it's covered. In a kind of film dust. Yes, because there's so much stuff in the atmosphere based on the things that are going on in the world.
That's right. And don't forget to tune in to NOI.org every Sunday to watch the Sunday lecture by Brother Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad or any of the student ministers in the Nation of Islam. And thank you so much for tuning in. I pray to Allah that Allah will continue to guide, bless and protect you all and your families. Stay strong through these dark times. It's beginning to get dark here in this country already. It didn't even last long. It's just dark when you wake up. Dark all day. But all praise is due to Allah. That's why we've got to have the oil in ourselves, the light, the teachings of the Honourable Elijah Muhammad and the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We've got to have the oil to get us through, because it's a very, very, very dark time that we're in, where people are absolute savage. There's no patience, there's no love, there's no care. So we've got to start caring for ourselves and others, our family, our friends. We've got to be that light in the darkness. So thank you once again for tuning in. May Allah God bless you all and take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, beloved. Praise be to Allah.
Varum
says, I wanted to quote, he says, our senior hall, things that just make you want to say, Beautiful. Thank you, family. Take care. May Allah bless you. Until next week, inshallah, if Allah spares our life, we'll be back same time, same place.